Welcome to Mack-n-Cheeze Music Podcast with your host, Brian.
I'm really excited to have today's guest, Dave Tieman. Dave is an exceptional guitar player, and he has a lot of great insights into his years of being involved with this craft. But before we get started, I want to introduce the new component to our podcast. Component, introduce yourself.
My name is Bruno.
You're going to be hearing a lot more from this guy, so stick around for future broadcasts. So we got a two-parter here. Onward with part one. Enjoy. So, you want a do-over on two different worlds.
I do. I want a do-over.
But honest to God, man, you saved that song. You saved that song. And so, like, Chris brought in a really mediocre guitar and a really mediocre amp, and it just wasn't happening. And then I threw that thing to you, and you gave it that Chicago blues thing, and you made it sound so great.
Well, you know,
You did,
hindsight is like 20/20.
What would you do differently on that?
Well, you know, I think it would be a different approach, and that one in particular, I think I just rack up to you live and you learn, and sometimes you just need to step away for a bit before you go. And that one I just kind of dove in.
I'm going to give this just a touch more gain, not much. All right, so hey, this is Brian at Mack-n-Cheeze, and this is my good friend Dave Tieman.
Hello.
Guitar aficionado. Dave did a recording for me years ago on a blues tune. It's kind of a Chicago blues tune, and it's actually going to be upcoming on Darnell Scott's album that we're recording here at Mack-n-Cheeze Music. But Dave, tell us about your education.
My education.
Yeah.
Life.
Yeah.
Or
schooling.
official schooling.
Your official schooling. Yeah.
Well, I went to school from Chicago. I went to school there, just a small college. I did community college for 2 years, and then I went and finished up a degree in music / business. That was I thought, you know, one end, the music end that I really loved and enjoyed, and the other end that was kind of a practical side of things that I thought might help me navigate life.
And it was based on music, your education?
Mostly, yeah. Primarily, there was half of the program was just your typical run-of-the-mill business classes.
Right.
So, you know, starting small businesses and how to account for that and all that.
Right.
But what I was really into was the music.
Yeah, but were you it was University of Arizona, or you were at?
Oh no, it was the college is called Elmhurst College, and it's outside of Chicago.
Oh, okay.
Like a western.
I don't know where I got Arizona out of this.
Well, I lived in Chicago I lived in Phoenix for about a decade. So,
but your accolades were that when you graduated there, you had the first person to graduate with several different music degrees out of the university.
Well, actually, when I went to Arizona.
That's where I got confused.
Yeah, that's where you got it confused. When I got to Arizona, I was one of the first that was accepted into a program that they were doing. I was the first guitar player accepted into it. So I don't know if they just had a thing that for not letting guitar people in the program.
Oh, okay.
What exactly it was.
Was it mostly just usually piano players or something like that, or?
Yeah, a lot of piano players, horn players, that kind of thing. It was a jazz program, so. And I think it was a jazz education program.
Okay.
And so I think that that just is geared maybe better for piano
Right.
players, but nowadays not so much. But I think they were just at the time just kind of getting going on it. So
Okay.
yeah. But that was pretty short lived. I think I did can't remember if I did just one semester or a full year there. But decided at that point the program really wasn't for me. So
Yeah.
I moved on in life.
So one of the reasons that Dave is here tonight is because he has a huge background in both composition, songwriting, theory. He's extremely one of the most articulate guitar players I've ever worked with. And Dave has a personal philosophy that there are so many great people out there that own it, actually own their instruments. And I look at David and I just say, oh my God, this is a guy who says that there are people out there who own it, and he owns it, but he doesn't think he does. And a lot of that is because he's an incredibly humble person. But as the conversation goes on this podcast, you'll see that he's got a wealth of information to offer to all sorts of people and all sorts of levels of music. So
Well, gosh, thank you.
Well, gosh, you're welcome. So, you've spent a lot of years writing songs.
Yes. Yes, I have. I was married to a singer-songwriter for 20 plus years, and but I was always interested in writing songs. But I think over those years, it just sort of got more finely tuned.
Yeah.
As it does if you study it and work on it and try to push forward.
Right.
in that vein.
How do you get your juices flowing when you're in songwriting mode? How do you accomplish these tasks?
I've always found that it like a song with the right idea, the right sort of thing that inspires you, that you just know is going to be a song. It just writes itself.
Okay, yeah.
Almost every single time.
Oh, right, yeah, that's interesting.
Very few. I don't know. Maybe a few songs along the way. Maybe back in the day, earlier on, there was more. They were more laborious, trying to put together just because of maybe a lack of the style or what to do or how to develop that idea.
When you say they, who do you mean by they?
By they, you mean?
Well, you said back in the day they.
Oh, the songs themselves. Yeah. would be more would be a bit more work because of maybe still trying to get whether it be knowledge of theory or different things kind of under your belt.
Right.
It's music is a constant sort of work in progress. And if you've got an idea for a song that's in a style maybe that you're not familiar with,
right,
that in and of itself can take some study just to kind of get at, to make happen.
Are you kind of comparing your songwriting style to like Burt Bacharach or somebody like that?
Oh no, I wouldn't do that. No. I'm comparatively to the great songwriters, I consider myself a flea.
Oh yeah. You've actually written some great stuff through the years, man. Have some great releases through the years. It's awesome.
Thank you.
Really good stuff. So when you and Jen were working together, did you guys collaborate on a lot of this?
We didn't really for songwriting. I think we had one one song. Well, I shouldn't say that. When we first started writing songs, I was wait.
Yeah, that's my hi-hat. Excuse me. Go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
when we first were writing songs, it was kind of in a band context. So so I did a lot of the putting progressions together, putting arrangements together. We had horn players, so I'd have to kind of scribble out the parts and that for them. But Jen was the primary.
Did you do a lot of E flat and B flat keys?
lots of E flat and B flat, and then the occasional B natural. Just
to screw with the horn players.
Right.
How
this
generous
one's
of
an
you.
E.
Yeah. You guys might not like it, but that's awesome, man.
No, really, the intent was it to be out of tune just a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, my friend Mikey, he writes most of his stuff in B flat and E flat because he's always thinking about the horn section.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about our favorite subject, guitars. Yeah.
Guitars. All right, let's get to it.
Yeah. So you said recently that you acquired a Paul Reed Smith.
I did, but it's an overseas model. It's an SE version of their kind of high end hollow body that they make, and I really like it. It's been a great guitar so far, and it just really stays in tune. Plays. It's very natural to play, and I've always wanted a full hollow body because I like jazz stuff a lot. But the problem I've always had with full hollow body guitars, they usually have like a floating bridge on it. Mm-hmm. And it's like a wooden bridge that'll just sort of sit on the body of the guitar.
They designed that for because of tone. Is it they were searching for that one more tone?
Yeah, I think has more to do with tone. It's kind of like how a violin is set up, you know, where it's sits on top of the arch, the arch top of the guitar. But the problem I always found with that is it's great. You get a great sound, but bending strings becomes a problem because that bridge sort of will sort of move as you put pressure on it.
Okay.
And if anybody who knows who's worked with the tremolo system ever in their life knows that that's a real bear to keep finely tuned. Mm-hmm. And as you know, being in the studio, something that just gets a little bit tweaky out of tune will make your ear go.
Yeah, man, intonation. Yeah. It's amazing to me how many people don't hear intonation, and it actually took our good friend Eric Ritz to batter me upside the head for a while before I finally started getting it, man. But when you don't hear it, you don't hear it, and a lot of times it's a reinforcement of not learning how to practice properly. And so there is that. I'm sorry, I digress. Yeah, I certainly digress.
Well, in any event, so the guitar itself anyway has it's fully hollow, but underneath the bridge there's a block of wood that sort of connects the top and the bottom of the guitar, and then the bridge bolts into that. So it basically serves two purposes. It keeps the guitar from feeding back like a traditional hollowed body guitar, because anybody who's played an acoustic live too knows that that's a real bear to sort of keep that keep the squeal at bay. Right. And it makes for a solid bridge. So voila, problem solved. And I bought it just a few months back. I found one online that was a price I couldn't refuse. Right. and I went with it.
So you were a faithful Gibson guy for a number of years.
I was. I had a 335 that I played for
Love the guitar.
25 years.
Love those things, man.
Yeah. It was my only guitar, really, apart from an acoustic guitar that I had. But it was my only electric.
Yeah.
For 25 years,
Yeah.
pretty much.
So did you find it extremely versatile in that time?
The 335?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you need a guitar that really can do most anything, the 335 is a great choice. Some things I found you can't really get, but tone-wise, the single coil tone thing is hard to accomplish with that, because you've got two humbucking pickups. So to get a single coil sound, you really need a single coil,
Right.
like Strat, Telly kind of thing. And it being semi-hollow, you don't quite get that full hollow body jazz tone,
Right.
as well. So that was always a thing to consider. And
I always saw 335s in blues bands. I mean, when I was growing up.
oh yeah, I mean that's the hallmark for blues. Worked great, really well for jazz too.
Yeah. I'll vouch for that. I heard it.
but more sort of modern-y sort of sounds. Even though the 335 is an older style instrument, it just sounds good.
Yeah.
When you get a good one, it just sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else?
Well, so you've moved into Fender world.
Well, I have moved into Fender territory, but in sort of kind of an odd way, because I bought a Telecaster that has two humbucking pickups into it.
Yeah.
But the Fender style humbuckers, so they sort of have a bit of twang to them, but it's been nice for my ear to hear and to play with different sounds and different tones, that I just haven't done a lot of over the last 25 years.
Yeah.
And another Telly that I bought has, it's a deluxe Nashville Telly, so it has three pickups. It's got the two Telecaster pickups, and then in the middle it's got a Strat pickup. So you get real stratty tones as well, which is really cool, and I'm really loving it.
I used to know a guy who had one of those.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, man, live, oh my God, what tone!
It's nice. It's nice. I'm still kind of getting used to it all. I've made a shift here in the last year to just try different sounds, sort of moving what has yet to be seen, what sort of direction that is, but it's been fun to experiment with different guitar tones and yeah.
Your meat and potatoes sort of guitar tones that you've used through the years, how are from what template have you moved from, and what are you moving into as far as the guitar tones you're talking about?
I think what I've been searching for lately is more of a modern type fusion type of tone. I've always really loved fusion, and
the style, the musical style,
the style of that, and that's a probably a whole episode in and of itself to talk about.
Right.
Guys in the style of
Robin
Feeney,
Ford. Oh,
Robin Ford, Chick Corea, guys who are
Al Damiola, those guys.
very well versed in jazz and could probably most definitely do so,
Right.
if they chose, but sort of took that off into a different direction,
Right.
somewhere in left field, somewhere that kind of fuses maybe rock tones. In jazz, it's just such a clean style all the time. It's about getting a very very hollow, fat sort
Right.
of jazz tone, clean. But I really like using some grit.
Okay, yeah.
Some distortion that kind of helps smooth out tone, and you get a lot of sustain from it. You really can do things that are more organ-like, where you
really?
can sustain notes for longer periods of time. So, but I don't know that that's much different than a lot of guys, like you said. Robin Ford, actually, you bring up that name, and my current roommate has turned me on to him as of late, and I've always known the name, had heard some stuff, but I really started paying attention to him lately, and wow, is he great. There's a lot of guys out there, I think, in the world that I've always known existed, and just in the last year or two, I've really started to pay attention to why they're so darn great,
Yeah. Besides blood, sweat, and tears. Oops, there we go again. Should stop bashing that hi-hat around. It's a little tight in my recording studio here, so I have a full drum set up and a console over here, and so my elbows. I get excited when Dave talks like this. And
I thought
really
it was just that I told the joke.
But bum. Yeah, that's right. That's right. So, do you have guitar players who've influenced you through the years?
Yeah. I guess every guitar player does. Guys that I like, I don't know, wide range of them. I really like, surprisingly though, I turn more towards other instruments. I think for inspiration.
Yeah,
a lot of times.
I get that.
One of my all-time favorites, period, is Freddie Hubbard, the trumpet.
Yeah.
He's just incredible.
Yeah.
But guitar player-wise, I really like. Always really liked Matheny a lot.
Yeah.
What have I been listening to as of late? It's just been a wash of all different.
Yeah, it's great.
Sorts of things lately, which is, that's the great thing about the modern age, is you go online and pretty much listen to any style of learn how to play it. Gosh, I wish all that was around when I was going to school. Maybe I would have skipped school.
Right. Yeah. Well, there's a lot to be said for that social interaction thing, and personally, I'm not a really big fan of taking instruction off of YouTube videos where you don't have a personal interaction with the instructor. Whereas
it has its own challenges.
It really does, because it's too easy to be sloppy without somebody correcting you. So, I mean, currently with the COVID thing, a lot of my friends who are instructors are using both Zoom and also the new one that's out is Jazz Kazam. Has anybody out there heard of Jazz Kazam?
Oh, Jam Kazam.
Jam Kazam. Jam Kazam. Yeah. Have you used it?
No, I have not used it. My current roommate has been he's been messing with it to try and get it working for him, but I don't know at this point that they've been able to come together and actually use it.
It's a bandwidth thing, huh?
Yeah,
yeah,
I think so, and I think that might remain a challenge just because of the nature of that kind of software. Being able to jam in a live context.
Huh.
But apparently they have figured that out. But I've not been able to. Not been able to experiment with it myself yet.
Oh, so you've looked at it, you've seen it.
I have kind of seen what it is, but I haven't used it.
Right.
Yeah.
One of my friends who's a super accomplished jazz pianist says it's great, and it's like, and I was like, whoa, like, dude, you're using jam kazam? Which to me was like, that's like, holy crap. So maybe there is something to this thing.
The world is snap your fingers and the world changes.
Yeah, bring on a huge disease and everybody's susceptible to. Next thing you know, jam kazam.
These are some strange times, brother.
Boy, tell me about it. So, how about your journey with amplifiers, man? That's been a long and arduous track, right?
Amplifiers, yeah. You mean the ones I've thrown out the window, or the ones that I've thrown into the Puget Sound?
Yeah. I mean, all of it. I mean, you've obviously you're a tone meister, and so great guitar players play their amps as well as their guitar. So, yeah, tell me about that journey.
Wow. Well, that's something that just keeps moving too. I think, and I think it's something I'm accepting these days, that's sort of in constant sort of transition.
Yeah.
Because as you learn and develop musically, you're looking for, maybe you want to work on a different project, or you're writing stuff in a different sort of way, or you're looking to record stuff in a different way. So you're looking for different sounds that kind of fit and suit that. And I don't live in a space where I can have 20 different amplifiers at my disposal, unfortunately. But
well, minus the ones that are in the Puget Sound, or you threw down the stairs.
I wish I could say it was Rockstar and I threw them out the hotel window, man. But
that and the couch.
But I currently play on this. Recently bought a Marshall, a DSL 40.
Really?
It's called, yeah. And I had just been researching lots of different amps online, checking them out. And originally, when I came across it, I way back when I had a Marshall, and I had never really revisited that since then. But lately I've been getting into, I've got an effects floorboard, Boss GT100. That I use, and I've really been experimenting.
New for you too, isn't it?
It is fairly new for me, because I've always just been a
guy,
I was a 335 into the amp kind of guy forever.
Yeah.
Heck, when we did shows, me and my ex-wife, we would just I would just plug that 335 just into the just straight into the PA.
Really?
And just play clean like that.
And it sounded great. I heard it. Yeah.
Well, thanks. That was kind of a juggling act between what sounds acceptable and what's easy to carry. Because, when you go to gigs, it can...
I'm a drummer, and you're talking about easy to carry.
Much,
Drummers, we're overcompensating. It's my personal philosophy.
But so this Marshall, I don't know. I even saw some reviews on it, and I sort of had it in the back of my mind. But believe it or not, there's very few amplifiers out there that will let you connect a MIDI cable into it. And this Marshall has just that.
Really?
And so what it does is it has, the amp itself has 4 different modes. It's basically 2 channels with 2 modes each. So you can get a foot switch to do that, or with the MIDI cable coming out of the Boss GT100 that I have, you can use the pedals to switch all 4 different modes. So you basically, it turns into a 4-channel amplifier. So let me just go back for a moment. So through the MIDI, you're actually controlling the tubes in the amplifier? Well, you're not controlling the tubes, but you're controlling the channel switching. I can turn the effects loop on and off.
Right.
And then I can select I can also preset which master gain to use. So if I wanted to use one of the masters for like a solo boost, and then the other one for just a rhythm volume sort of thing. So that really comes in handy, because now with those 4 different modes, now I can use them as like 4 separate channels. So the varying degrees of gain. So it's just very versatile that way.
Yeah.
And the tone is good. What was interesting is I bought the amp, I played it quite a bit, and I thought, well, I purchased it through Guitar Center, so maybe might take them up on the return policy, as I've done before. And but in
lieu of the lake,
in worst case, since I did buy it from a legitimate company that I could return it from, even though it might be more satisfying to throw it into the Puget Sound, that I could in fact return it if necessary. And well, the thing is, so I bought it, and I was trying to dial in tone, different things. And I liked the tone, but I wasn't really in love with it.
Right.
And, it has, on the back of it has a closed back. And so on the back, it has, at the bottom, it has just kind of a little slit where you can kind of stick your hand in if you wanted to.
Right.
That sort of opens it up. And I thought, that's kind of built almost like a subwoofer would be, where you've got like airspace that's
right.
And with a closed back, it sort of pushes all the sound out front and makes it a little. And I'm guessing with that little hole in the back, that was just making it sound more bassy, because they're Marshall rock sort of tone.
Absolutely,
maybe they're trying to push for that. Well, I was over at Michael's the other day, Michael, and he helped me pull off the bag. He got out his electric drill, and we pulled the back off. Magic happened.
Really?
Magic happened. It all of a sudden it
opened
just
up.
Filled the room.
Yeah.
It filled the room. I could stand behind it. It sounded like I was standing in front of it. And it was just, wow, did wonders
Celestians
for it.
in it, or what are they using?
We will continue this conversation with Dave Tieman on our next podcast. Stay tuned. Okay, Bruno, take it away.
To infinity and beyond!
Hey everyone, if you enjoyed this video and you got something out of it, please subscribe to Brian at Mack-n-Cheeze on YouTube. Just press that subscribe button and you'll never miss another episode. Hey, and you got that going for you, right? All right. Cheers. Have a great day.